All right, welcome everyone. So, ways to protect your energy. In this video, I just want to talk about the energy field, our human energy field, how it operates, how it works, and then how we can actually protect this energy field. Because a lot of people are unaware of their field in the first place, so this makes it very easy for them to be susceptible to other outside energies, other outside forces coming in, right? So I'm going to teach you guys how to become aware of the energy field, and then I'm going to teach you guys how to protect your own energy field from other energies coming in, right? Just to give you an example of like somewhat of an overview of how this would affect you, how other people's energy could affect you. Quickly, even if somebody is unconscious, right? So even if somebody is unaware of what they're doing, their energy and your energy are going to interact when you are in close vicinity, right? So if you are in the same room as somebody, your energy fields are currently not only touching but interfacing, right? They're interacting, right? So they're exchanging energy back and forth, even for those who are unaware. So for someone who doesn't know how to protect their field or can't strengthen the potency of their field, right? They're going to be very susceptible to more dense energies, negative energies typically, right? Because negative energy is typically more dense. So you'll be more susceptible to denser energies, and you'll be less able to fully absorb and fully take in higher level energies, right? So higher frequency energies. Right, so our human energy field and then how it operates. So the energy field itself is a field or projection of our internal body, or our energy body, right? So we have many bodies within our physical body, one of them being the energetic body, the energy body. So our energy field is a field that's an orb of light, of energy, of sound, vibration, right? And it surrounds our body in somewhat of an egg-shape structure. And what this does, it's basically a reflection of our energy body. So the energy body is within, right? So we can tune into this and we can feel this if we want. And our energy field is a projection. It's a physical projection of our energy body, right? And so it's a field of light. It's a field of energy that reflects our own energy, our emotions, our feelings, our thoughts, our vibration, our consciousness, right? The blueprint or the frequency or the structure of all of these things, right? So our thoughts, our feelings, our consciousness, and our level of consciousness, it's all contained within a blueprint within the energy body, right? And the energy body radiates this vibration, this energy out of who we are. And then it also brings to us and it tracks through the magnetic field to us whatever resonates within that energy field, within that energy body. So how it interacts with other fields, I briefly explained earlier. But basically, if you're in close vicinity with somebody, right, your energy field, and you can imagine this too. You can imagine a physical orb or a ball of light, of energy that surrounds you, right? And you can imagine what would happen if that light, right, that energy that surrounds your body was to meet somebody else's, was to connect and interface with somebody else's energy, right? You're going to exchange information. You're going to exchange energy with this person's field. Sometimes what will happen is we will exchange energy with somebody else and we will find resonance, right? We will find that the two energies connect and they resonate, right? This is typically what will happen right before you are to, let's say, make a new friend, right? So if you're to meet someone you've never met before, your energies will find some resonance, right? Before you've even had a conversation with this person. And then more likely than not, this resonance will lead you to becoming closer to this person, becoming friends with this person, because it will trigger some sort of shared interest, right? It will trigger some sort of shared inspiration that will lead to a conversation. And because of the resonance, this conversation will likely lead to you becoming friends with this person. The opposite is also true. Let's say you don't resonate with that person. You will be triggered by their energy. You will be triggered by the lack of resonance, right? You'll feel depending on the type of person, depending on the nature of their energy, you might feel anger arise. You might feel some fear arise, right? Like certain emotions will come up that are negative, that are perceived as negative. And this is just the result of a lack of resonance with this other person's energy. And if this person's energy is very intense, right? Like it's very dense and strong and powerful, but it's intense. You can actually be more susceptible to taking on their energy just because they have a little bit more potency, because they're a little bit more solid. They're fixed, right? You might be a little bit more free flowing, right? And so what needs to happen is you need to learn how to essentially strengthen your own field so that you can be free flowing like this, right? You can float freely throughout life, but at the same time, that free-flowing energy is so potent, so powerful that nothing can actually penetrate it. Nothing can actually stop that energy from continuing to do what it does, right? And it continues to flow, even if it is a more subtle vibration, even if it is a higher vibration, right? The lower vibrations, the denser energy will dissolve in the presence of a higher frequency energy. So how our energy can be influenced, right? So I just explained other people's energy. Other people's energy can come in and it can influence our field. It can influence the way we feel, the way we think, right? And another way this can happen is through just other people talking to us, right? So if we're having a conversation with somebody and somebody says something we don't like, their energy is coming into our field. And we can either choose to accept this, right? And kind of like not integrate it, but rather identify with it and start to identify with it. And what will happen with that is because we have now identified with this negative energy that has come in, we now essentially bring that into our energy field and it becomes our new energy signature, or at least part of it, one of them. So it becomes part of our new energy signature, and it stays as a permanent, not only identity, but as an energy within our field that's floating around, that may come up from time to time and present itself in the form of insecurities or in the form of negative emotions, right? So our internal reactions to things, this is going to be the biggest determiner as to whether energy can affect us or not. So we can bring in energy all day, like we can feel energy coming in all day, but if we don't identify with any of it, if we don't get stuck on any of it, this energy will come in and it will float through us. It will move through us. It will not get stuck. It will not get trapped. It will just move through us. It will move on, right? It will flow instead of it getting stuck and getting trapped within our body, within our mind, right? Within our field. And the last thing is karma and karmic debt, right? So our energy field is mostly determined by our karma, by the level of karmic debt that we have. So if you have a very clean, a very clear energy field, it's likely that you don't have a whole lot of deep karma. If your energy field is very dense, it's very heavy, it's very hectic, right? If it's chaotic, if you're feeling like a lot of lust, for example, or what's another example? Basically, if you're feeling like dense or tense, like you can't flow freely, right? Your energy can't move freely, right? This is a sign that you have a lot of built up karma, a lot of heavy karmic debt, right? And I'm going to be making future videos on karma and specifically how to work through any karmic debt that you might have, because that's going to be a big step for people moving forward, is actually working through the karmic debt that they've accumulated. So karma and karmic debt, they determine the level of energy that you have, and they determine the nature of your energy field. So if your energy field is constantly projecting out all of this negativity, this negative energy. It's going to bring you these experiences. And that's why your karma will typically manifest within the energy field, because it is how we bring the experiences necessary to essentially pay off that karmic debt, right? All of the negative experiences that we have are karma. They're karmic debt being paid off. And if we accept the experience and move through it and work through it and do what needs to be done in order for that experience to end, for the thing to move on, whatever it may be, right? For things to just keep moving and keep going. We do whatever's needed to be done. This will free us from that karmic debt, that specific energy, that specific karma that we've accumulated. It'll free us from that karmic debt. And the more free we become from karma, the more control we have over our energy field, and the more it reflects our soul rather than the ego and its negativity, right? So, how to protect your energy field. So, when it comes to protecting the energy field, we have to understand that the energy field is ours. It is our energy field, right? And therefore, just as any other part of our body, it is something that we are meant to be able to consciously control. But, for example, the reason I can consciously control my hand and make my fingers move like that is because I'm aware of my hand. It's because I have consciousness within my hand. I know my hand is here. I know where it is. I can feel it, whether I'm using it or not. I can feel it. I can perceive it. And so I have the ability to control it freely, right? Because I can effortlessly move my consciousness into it. So the same thing applies to our energy field, except for the fact that we are asleep to the internal worlds. We are not aware of the internal worlds. We cannot feel, we cannot perceive the internal worlds. And so what this leads to is this lack of perception means that we can no longer actually control our body within our body, right? So we can't control our body fully. We can control the physical body because we are aware of the physical vessel and the physical body and the physical world, but we cannot control, for example, our energetic body. We cannot control the flow of our energy, and we cannot control our energy field, at least not yet, because we have not trained our perception of it. So the first step is going to be training your perception of the energy field. It's going to be actually building a level of awareness and consciousness within the energy field. And you need to be able to feel the energy, right? You need to be able to feel your energy as it flows, as it moves, or if it's not moving, if it's dense, if it's stuck somewhere, you need to feel that, right? You need to feel where that energy is. And so the best way to train your perception of the energy field is actually just in meditation. When you go into meditation, focus on the breath first, become grounded, become centered, and then move your awareness inwards. Move your awareness into the body and try to start to feel the inner body. Then try to start to feel the energy body and the flow of energy through your body, right? As your energy flows through you. And then try to also begin to move your awareness and move your perception outside of your body into the energy field around us. Right, into the energy field around your body, into all of the stored energy and information, the infinite amount of energy and information that surrounds us, right? Start to move your awareness into the energy field and its surrounding energy and information, right? And then another thing that we can start to do and that we can start to implement would be pranayama. Pranayama is a breathing technique that transmutes sexual energy. And it basically trains us to transmute and circulate this energy through our body, giving us a better perception and a better level of control over our energy body. So, I'm sorry, I actually have pranayama here. I'll talk about that in a second. So increasing the strength of your energy. This is going to be the next step. So increasing the strength of your own energy. So no matter the vibration of your energy, no matter the frequency of your energy, whether it is a low frequency or it is a high frequency, we can solidify and crystallize our own energy signature and our own energy into our field and essentially make it stronger, make it impenetrable. All right, we good. Light just fell. Okay, so what we can do is we can essentially strengthen the field and make it, like I said, impenetrable. So I was going to use an example before my light fell. Basically, think of somebody that you would consider to be dense, right? Think of somebody that you would consider to be hard-headed, stubborn, right? So imagine if you were to walk up to them and think of an opinion that they have that's a strong opinion, and imagine what would happen if you went up to them and tried to tell them the opposite, right? You tried to explain, and with facts, with real logical information and studies and evidence that this is the truth, right? Imagine trying to go to them and convince them that the opposite is true. If this person is really dense and really stubborn, they're going to deny it all the way, right? They're going to have absolutely no desire of opening their mind up to this concept, right? It's going to literally bounce off of them. It's going to bounce directly off of their energy field, right? And so we can do the same even if we're not being dense and being stubborn. We can still have an open mind. But we essentially become so solidified, so sure of our own energy that we have no desire to bring in any other energy and keep it there. We just let other energy flow through us, right? And we stay solid, we stay grounded, we stay fixed, right? Within our own energy, within the energy that we've created and the energy that we've crystallized, right? And so because we stay fixed, we stay solid, right? We are not affected by outside energies coming in, right? Because of this, we will be able to protect the energy field and maintain its frequency. We'll be able to maintain our desired frequency within this field. And so one way that you can begin to do this, and one thing that will help you with this, is actually pranayama. So pranayama, and then another technique called microcosmic orbit. So microcosmic orbit breathing is a type of pranayama, and this is a very simple one, so I'll explain it here. But I will be writing books on pranayama, and microcosmic orbit will be one of the practices that I talk about in that book. So look for that. I believe that one will come out as a $5 book. So it'll be cheap, and it'll have all of my pranayama techniques in it, all of my breathwork techniques in it. So you can buy that when it comes out. But for now, I'm just going to explain microcosmic orbit, just a very simple step-by-step for you. And this is a good practice to do every day. I like to do it in the morning, but you can do it throughout the day as you need it as well. You can use it anytime you feel lustful or you have a sexual urge that you can't control. You can use it to circulate the energy so that it no longer seeks sexual outlet or a lustful outlet, and instead will begin to be readily available to be utilized by the body in other ways, right? In the sense of regeneration instead of generation, right? So having a kid is generation, and we can take this energy and we can regenerate ourselves with it. One of the things that will include is the energy field. So when we circulate this energy properly, when we utilize and transmute it properly, gives us the ability to regenerate the energy field, right? And so this will give us more strength within our energy field, more energy itself, right? So our energy field will just be more abundant, and it will also help us to increase our perception of it by allowing us to start to feel the flow of energy. So let me run through it really quick with you. So first things first, I like to do it sitting up, but I also do it first thing in the morning when I wake up, before I've even gotten out of bed sometimes. It just depends on the day. Sometimes you need it, sometimes you don't. When you're practicing semen retention, there are a lot of mornings when you wake up with more energy than you really know what to do with, right? So you have a lot of dense energy in the lower centers. And what I'll do on these specific mornings is just breathe through it, circulate it first, and then use it throughout the rest of the day. So real quick, while you're inhaling, so it's going to be an inhale, a long, deep inhale, right? So you're going to inhale from the base of the spine all the way up the spine, and you're going to imagine it's going to be imagination first. And then eventually the goal is to be able to feel this energy as it flows. But first you'll probably have to imagine it as a flame, a little bit of electricity, right? Lightning, water. It could be like a type of water, right? You can imagine water flowing up and down. Anything that you can imagine, a ball of light even, anything that you can imagine that would represent energy for you. Imagine that energy is moving from the base of your spine all the way up to the top of your head and then down to the roof of your mouth. And you need to have your tongue resting at the roof of your mouth for this to work, because that'll connect the two channels. Don't quote me on this. I believe the Renmai channel is this first one, from the base of the spine to the roof of the mouth, and then the Du-mai is the second channel from this point down. So I'm probably butchering those names, by the way, but they're two separate channels that connect at the roof of the mouth and the tongue. So we keep the tongue at the roof of the mouth to connect two channels. Inhale, bringing the energy up and down, and then exhale, bringing the energy and allowing it to fall and drop. So that was a bit of a confusing explanation, but I gave you all the information. So let me just run through it really quick. So I will use my hand to symbolize where the energy is for me. So if it's right here at the base of my spine, and then you're bringing it down and allowing it to sit and rest right here. This is called the middle dantian. It is right next to the solar plexus, and it is basically our best storage facility for energy, especially sexual energy, because sexual energy is very powerful. It holds a lot of potency to it. And so it needs a proper storage mechanism, right? It can be stored while dormant within the lower dantian. That's where it's first stored. But as soon as this energy becomes activated, right? As soon as this energy begins to rise up, as soon as we feel it as the sexual urge, it needs to go somewhere. And more likely than not, it will try to expel itself downwards, right? This is both due to gravity and the fact that our lower nature has taken hold, right? So a lot of us have allowed our lower nature to control us. And so our energy tries to go out, downwards and outwards. Instead, we teach the energy to rise and go upwards instead, and we store it within the body, right? We store it here within the body. The middle dantian is close to the heart, so the heart can access this energy as it needs to circulate it through the body, right? Anytime it needs extra sexual energy, it can take it and it can circulate it. And this gives us a well of energy to access for our energy field, and our energy field will become stronger as a result, as well as it can help with any lust that you have. So this video isn't about semen retention, but that can be a bonus. That can be a benefit. And the next thing I actually have here is semen retention. So I'm going to tell you that semen retention itself will allow you to increase the potency of your energy field, will allow you to increase the power of your energy field and the range of it as well, right? So I can extend my energy field now, which is not something that I thought that I'd be able to do. But over time, you will learn to be able to actually extend the range of your field. You can extend the range and the radius of your energy field in such a way that it can affect other people, right? So this isn't something that you want to use maliciously, right? But you can influence the energy of others by projecting and radiating out love, right? By radiating light, by being a beacon of light. And this will trigger certain people, but it will also become a sense of warmth, or it will feel like a blanket or a warm hug to some people, right? Those who are triggered, if you stay in this energy, will eventually just move away from you, right? They just won't be in your field. They will just leave, right? And this is their choice, right? That is okay. Those who want to be in this energy will stay. And that's the power of solidifying your energy, is that you are no longer affected or influenced by other people's energy. And so those who truly resonate are the ones who have to essentially either choose that they resonate or get away from you if they don't, right? Instead of you being the one to change and alter yourself, they have to change. They have to adapt because your energy is so potent, so strong. So yeah, semen retention will help. Semen retention will allow you to have more energy to access, right? And if you combine it with these breathing techniques, you will actually be able to utilize this energy to its fullest, leading it to strengthen and increase the power of your energy field. So the next thing is actually learning how to control your internal reactions. So like I mentioned earlier, one of the main things that can actually get us stuck is the internal reaction that we have to the things that happen to us. So what does this mean? Basically, our internal reaction to things, right? The external world is going to happen the way it happens, right? Like that, it just is. You know what I mean? It just is. There's no denying what is happening in the real world. But what determines how that affects you is the way you react internally. And that is something that is 100% in your control. So the way you react internally is 100% under your control. The way you react externally doesn't necessarily matter, at least not in this case. I still wouldn't act irrationally, right? But if you are to, let's say someone is threatening you, for example, right? And if you have to fight this person and you do so, the difference between me and you, right? Let's just use that example because I believe that I have mastered this specific skill, right? So let's say it was the difference between me and you. You're watching this video for help on your energy field. I've mastered it. So I, in that situation, would fight this person if I had to fight this person. Let's say it's a life or death situation. I'd fight this person, but would have zero internal attachment to the situation, would have zero internal reactions, would have no emotional reaction to the situation, right? I would not allow anger to take me over. I would not allow rage to take me over, right? I would simply act as needed, but at the same time, because I'm aware of the internal world, I would be more focused on keeping my internal energy aligned, right? So I'd be more focused on keeping my internal reaction calm, relaxed, focused, but relaxed, and keeping my energy clean, keeping my energy clear, right? Not acting out of a need for more violence, right? Not acting out of a bloodlust in a way, because a lot of people who will fight to protect themselves, right? They actually do want to fight. And so they're taking this further than they have to, right? And so because I'm keeping my energy clean and I'm keeping my internal clean, a fight would only look like me doing absolutely everything necessary and nothing more, right? Nothing less, but nothing more. And that's the difference, is because I would let go of the situation as soon as it's handled and then move away and handle the internal world as well. I would control and manage the internal reactions, the internal state, right? The energies that I've now taken on by fighting a person, because whether it's defense or not, that will result in some karma. So you have to accept that karma and you have to actually work through that karma, right? And so because I'm controlling the internal reactions, right? It doesn't matter what happened externally, right? I can still defend myself externally. But because I controlled the internal reactions, I can now walk away from the situation still being whole, right? Still not being tainted, not being damaged internally and energetically by the situation. Does that make sense? So the difference would be someone else who isn't a master of this, who ends up getting threatened by some guy. He needs to fight him, fights him, but internally is reacting, is allowing the anger to become him, right? Is allowing his own rage to control him, right? He is allowing himself to be taken over by this desire to win a fight. And so he is taking it further than he has to, right? As well as the fact that he has now become an angry person. He's walking away from the fight, talking about that person still, right? Talking shit, right? This is all the result of his internal reactions not being under control. And so the internal reaction to the situation took over his mind, right? Took over his energy, and therefore will alter his field in such a way that he will be lowered in vibration. He will be more likely to attract more situations similar or of a similar vibration and frequency, right? And so this is why the internal reaction is the most important thing, because it doesn't actually matter what we're doing externally. I mean, no, we can't do horrible acts externally and just think if we control the internal, we're fine. But if we have to act externally, that's fine. The reaction, the important reaction, is the internal one, the one that we are in control of, which is the internal world. We cannot control the external world. We can control the internal world. We can control our energy. We can control our thoughts and our feelings and our actions. That's it, right? And so by controlling the internal world, we actually gain control of the entire world. We can gain control of everything else around us, because nothing around us can affect us, but we have the power to do the opposite. We can affect the world around us because we stay solid in who we are, right? And then, okay, so the last thing I have is just a bit of a technique, just a bit of a trick that I use. And it's a way of altering your own energy field and altering another person's energy field, right? So let's say you have somebody in your life who is struggling, and you know this information, you know how to apply it and use it, and your energy field is strong. Let's say you have a very strong energetic signature, or just a very loving one, and you can go in and you can help to heal other people, right, through their energy field. So the first thing you would have to do is learn to do it to yourself. Learn to do it to your own energy field. And the way you do this is by tuning in. So the first thing that we would have applied, which is training your perception, right? So once you've trained your perception of the energy field, then you need to be able to tune in. So tune in, tap in, feel it, perceive it, right? Gain awareness of it, bring your consciousness into it. Find whatever energies you need to find, which don't align, whatever energy is sitting in your field that is either keeping you stuck, that is causing you some sort of pain and discomfort, whatever, right? Find it, identify it, feel it, and then take that energy, right? And essentially breathe into it, expand it, and release it, right? So the more you breathe into it, the more you become conscious of it and move your attention into it, and the more you expand it, the more you release this energy. And as you release this energy, it will begin to change. It will begin to alter its state. And the state of your consciousness is what will determine the state of this energy now. So once this energy begins to transform and transmute, it will transmute into whatever the state of your consciousness is. So if you have a loving consciousness, it will turn into a loving frequency. And then this will take time and practice to learn and master. But once you've mastered this skill in particular, just going in, finding an energy and changing it, altering it, giving it your own energy, right? So you can change it and integrate it. Now you can go and try to apply it to somebody else. Now I would only do this to people who want to have their energy changed or altered or changed, because somebody who's not ready for it, it can cause some problems, it can cause damage, right? It can cause them to be triggered in such a way that they will not actually gain any progress or any momentum forward. And so it's very important you only do this to people who need it, and you only do it for the sake of healing, right? You do not do this out of malicious intent, right? You do not do this out of selfish intent, right? You do this out of a desire to help somebody. You do it out of a desire to heal. And honestly, if you are doing it out of malicious intent, if you even can do it, it'll take you a lot of work to get to a point where you can, and to get to the point where you have that skill. But for the most part, you won't be able to do it, right? Because you have that negative intent behind it. And this is a God-given gift. It's not something people just get to fuck around with. So if you're interested in that, make sure that your intentions are clear and purposeful. But aside from that, those are my ways for you to protect your energy field, right? To essentially strengthen your own field so that other people's fields can't come in and change and alter your energy. And if you do most of these things for a good amount of time, eventually you'll get to the point where your energy is so strong that it actually affects other people's energy more often than not, right? So for a while, I was just not being affected by others. At a point, my energy started to influence others instead. So that is one cool benefit of increasing your energy, is that you can actually begin to raise the frequency and raise the energy of other people as well. But yeah, so that's my knowledge, that's my wisdom on the energy field, how to protect it. If you guys want any more information on the energy field and on anything self-improvement, and if you guys want to check out my books, subscribe, stay tuned. Those are coming out soon. But yeah, peace.